All right. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our beloved speaker for today, our beloved uncle, His Grace GARUDA Prabhu, and all glories to the assembled Vaishnavi devotees. We thank you all, as always, for being here. Today is Tuesday. I understand Srila Prabhupada was born on Tuesday. So I cherish Tuesdays because it's the day Srila Prabhupada appeared. Sorry, my apologies. Srila Prabhupada was not born, he appeared. So we're very grateful. Today also happens to be the appearance day of His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. And for some reason, I was just sharing with Prabhuji that there was no deliberate thought of scheduling Prabhu to speak today, but it happens that our beloved uncle is the one speaking today. And it happens to be the appearance day of his beloved God brother, my beloved spiritual master. And the subject matter is also quite technical, which requires technical mind to deal with. So we couldn't have been better looking for the right person to speak on this subject matter than His Grace. So Prabhuji, as always, we're very, very grateful to have your association once again being with us and going to help us taste the nectarian Srimad Bhagavatam. So with that being said, we may put the verse on the screen and then you take it over from here. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the opportunity, Sahadevji. It's a delight to come back and see you and the other devotees here. And of course, it is wonderful to know that today is Bhakti Tirtha's appearance day. I will speak to that at some point in my talk. Okay. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. The universe embraces each one of us, yet we can be so blinded by darkness. Because our true teachers guide us with the light of pure knowledge, our eyes can be opened to the power and sweetness of illumination. Therefore, let us bow down before those who guide us on our spiritual paths. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam 3:16-12. Okay. Tanme swabartu avasayam alakshamano yushmad vyatik kramatgatim pratipadya sadya puyo mamantikam itam tadanugrahau me yat kalpatam achirato britayor vivasa. Okay, we'll go right to the translation. These servants of mine, Krishna is speaking here, these servants of mine have transgressed against you, not knowing the mind of their master. I shall therefore deem it a favor done to me if you order that, although reaping the fruit of their transgression, they may return to my presence soon, and the time of their exile from my abode may expire before long. Purport. From this statement, we can understand how anxious the Lord is to get his servitor back into Vaikuntha. Therefore, this incident proves that those who have once entered a Vaikuntha planet can never fall down. The case of Jai and Vijay is not a fall down. It is just an accident. The Lord is always anxious to get such devotees back again to the Vaikuntha planets as soon as possible. It is to be assumed that there is no possibility of a misunderstanding between the Lord and the devotees, but when there are discrepancies or disruptions between one devotee and another, one has to suffer the consequences, although that suffering is temporary. The Lord is so kind to his devotees that he took all the responsibility for the doorman's offense and requested the sages to give them facilities to return to Vaikuntha as soon as possible. Again, the verse, though these servants of mine have transgressed against you, not knowing the mind of their master, I shall therefore deem it a favor done to me if you order that, although reaping the fruit of their transgression, they may return to my presence soon, and the time of their exile from my abode may expire before long. Hare Krishna. There's a word in here, anugraha. Let's see. Yes, anugraha. The word anugraha, translated here as favor. Anugraha means literally that which follows the embrace. When we as bhaktas attempt to return the embrace of divinity who already embraces us, then this is our return embrace, but it is Krishna who gives us the anugraha. It is his grace. It's that which follows our embrace. So when he is already embracing us through the Brahman prakasha, the Brahman, the outer world manifestation of Brahman. Brahman, everything is in Brahman. Nothing can be separate from Krishna's divine energy of Brahman. And of course, there's the Virata-rupa, a small part of the Brahman, the Virata-rupa, the way, or Vishwarupa, the way that divinity pierces through this world in the superlative manifestations of this world to the rest of us. And then, of course, there is the inner embrace, the Lord within the heart, the Lord present in the heart, the Antaryaman, the indwelling Lord, the Paramatman, the supreme self within the heart, in which the small jiva self resides. So between these outer manifestations of divinity and this inner manifestation of divinity, we are embraced by the divine. But divinity remains very quiet within our hearts. He does not want to be a stalker. He doesn't want to pressure us at all. So he remains there neutrally. And we learn from the Bhagavad Gita that I love no one and I hate no one. I'm impartial to all. But as soon as my devotee turns to me, I love them like crazy. Now that's my sort of rendition, spontaneous rendition of that little verse. But that's how it works. When Krishna sees us take a step toward him, he immediately reciprocates. Yeyatamam prapadyante tangstataiva bhajamyaham. As they submit themselves to me, I love them reciprocally. Bhajami. It also means, bhajami can also mean worship. I worship my devotee, Krishna says. Ultimately, he worships his beloved Radha. But he loves his devotees. And this verse is very much speaking to that concern about how Krishna is loving his devotee and doesn't want any difficulty coming toward his devotee from others, whether they be devotees or not. So this is our process. Our process is to awaken the heart and to open the heart to the ways that Krishna already is present so totally in our lives, in his embrace from within and without, and that maybe we can return the embrace. This is just so important. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is always threading throughout different verses, all throughout the Gita. Krishna is preoccupied with souls coming to him. This is how you can come to me. Surely you will come to me. You will come to me because you are dearly loved by me. There are over 22 instances of Krishna throughout the Gita where he is weaving that innermost desire of his throughout the teachings of the Gita. I've outlined this in my own translation of the Bhagavad Gita, 22 different instances in which Krishna is expressing his desire for us to come to him. There are also many, many places in the Gita where Krishna expresses how much he loves his devotee. And again, these sentiments from divinity surpass all the other teachings of the Gita, though those teachings are offered out of loving kindness to us. The Gita, in effect, is a love letter. It's a love letter. And anyone who sends out a love letter hopes to get a response back. It's really painful to express love to someone and not hear back from them. Krishna has, in the Bhagavad Gita, he has expressed his desire for us to come to him over and over. So the verse, that it most dramatically expresses this is 1864. And then, of course, the famous Charama Shloka of 1866. And in 1865, a partial repetition that is at the end of the 9th chapter in verse 34. I think it's 34. Yeah, I believe it is 34. Anyway, this desire to come, please come to me, for you are dearly loved by me. But the first place that Krishna, not the first place, but the concluding place where Krishna has explained his great secret, his greater secret, and the greatest secret of all. The great secret addresses the outer world of conflict and suffering, and a world in which ideally we find our swadharma, our seva, what we were put here to do, that we find that and that we develop a heart that can extend to others. The greater secret, so that in verses 1 through 49 of the 18th chapter is the great secret. The greater secret is the next 14 verses. And this is where Krishna is asking us to see the bigger picture. Of course, in the 11th chapter, the Virata Rupa is revealed to Arjuna from Krishna to be able to gain some perspective about from his small, painful picture of having to go to war, but to be able to place that little picture into the greater picture of transcendence and the Supreme Person, the indwelling Lord, the eternality of the soul. This is the greater secret. And the greatest secret of all is only 3 verses. Sarvaguyatamam bhuya shrinume paramang vachaha ishtosi me dhritamiti tatoviksham ite hitam. Sarvaguyatamam, the greatest secret of all secrets. Sarvaguyatamam. It's a superlative, but it's a super superlative because it's not just guyatamam, it's sarva guyatamam. The greatest secret of all secrets. So it's a super superlative. Sarva guyatamam. Shrunume, please hear again. It's in the imperative case. You must hear this. You must finally get this. Hear this. Because I've said it before. Booyah. I've said, please hear this again. I've said it throughout several verses, many verses. How I wish, how I desire for you to come to me, Krishna says. And if that weren't enough, me paramang vachaha, my supreme message. My supreme message. There is no verse, I maintain, in the whole of the Gita that is as emphatic and dramatic and insistent and as intense as this verse. And then he puts quotation marks around the message. It's an iti clause. Ishtosi me dhritam. You are so much loved by me. Ishta. There are many words in the word, in the Sanskrit language for love. This word in particular has the sense of love that is passionately desired. Ishta. Ishta. I so much desire you, and you are so much loved by me. You are intensely loved by me. Therefore, I speak this to you, and I will continue to do so for your benefit. Then, of course, the Charma Shloka, which gives us the key to the nature of Krishna's love. Sarva dharman parityajya. Okay, we all know this verse. But do we know what it's doing? What this verse does? The whole Gita has been explaining teachings of Dharma. The whole Gita opens up with the word. The very first word is Dharma. Dharma kshetre, kurukshetre, samaveta yoyotsavaha. The very first word is Dharma. The teachings are threaded by the idea of Dharma, the whole idea of acting according to one's nature. Chaturvanyam mayashristam gunakarmam vibhagashaha. Gunakarma, according to one's qualities and activities. Okay, so that's dharma, swadharma. The teachings that are dharmic are spread throughout the whole Gita. And then he says, relinquish all forms of dharma. Now, why would he say that? Why would he say that? Because when you are completely united with divinity in love, with love, you no longer have to be concerned about anything else, because everything comes along naturally. And this is the parodharma of Krishna Prema. Parodharma. It's the dharma that goes beyond all dharmas. So Krishna is saying, relinquish all forms of dharma. Come to me as your only shelter. Mam ekam sharanam raja. So powerful are the teachings of Krishna. So powerful. We are so fortunate to be able to delve into these teachings and to have so many teachers that present this rich theology in so many ways. Today is Bhakti Tirtha Swami's appearance day. I have to start out by saying I miss him so much. There were many years we were close friends, and yeah, I mean, there's so much I could say about Bhakti Tirtha Swami. He was someone who was lit up by the teachings of Bhakti. He inspired so many people. He wrote and spoke about Krishna Bhakti in such beautiful ways that were fresh. They were fresh. The Spiritual Warrior. Doesn't he have 3 volumes for that? 3 volumes, right? Spiritual Warrior? I believe, yes. Okay, I'm getting a nod from Sahadev Ji. Yeah,
Yeah, it's probably good.
that's right. We have his books here. And, he was just such an inspired soul. It's just so fully inspired. And, there was a time when I was teaching at Duke University, which was it's a very prestigious university. Many years ago in 1997 and 1998, I think I got those dates right. And Bhakti Tirtha Swami was coming through North Carolina. And even though the local GBC and Swami was there, I never felt comfortable inviting him to speak in my class. And that's, this is personal, there's various reasons and so on, although we have a loving relationship. But there are different styles of presenting Krishna Bhakti. But I felt extremely comfortable asking Bhakti Tirtha Swami to come and speak in my class at Duke University. And he did. The students loved him. Of course, the students loved him. What is not to love about Bhakti Tirtha Swami? He was a glowing, magnanimous personality. He was very loving and very kind, except to me. One time when he forced me to appear on the television program. Now, I think I already went through all of that with you in a previous session. That was the only time that there was a complaint from my end to him. And he knows that. He still knows it to this day. I'm telling you. But every other interaction with Bhakti Tirtha Swami was precious and wonderful. And I'll be honest, even that one was, but it was very uncomfortable for me, unprepared to show up on TV for millions of viewers. I was not prepared. But I think Bhakti Tirtha Swami enjoyed torturing me at that event. But anyway, that happened 1980 in Chicago, 1981. No, yeah, 1981 in Chicago. In any case, such great souls. Now, someone as dear to Srila Prabhupada as Bhakti Tirtha was, and so dedicated in the library party. I remember I knew Bhakti Tirtha Swami when he was Ganashyam Prabhu, when he was a brahmachari. Ganashyam, along with Mahabodhi and Kalakanta and the different devotees under Satsvarup Maharaj, would travel everywhere, establishing Prabhupada's books in university libraries. Bhakti Tirtha appreciated education, himself being educated at Princeton, undergraduate. By the way, I'm supposed to go up to Princeton and give a talk on my new book in a few weeks from now. But so whenever I go to Princeton, which I've done many times over the last 2 decades, I always remember Bhakti Tirtha Swami and the way he must have traversed the grounds going to class prior to his taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada. Preparing the way for his entrance into a life of Krishna Bhakti, where he would inspire so many people. But I recall his dedication way before he was Bhakti Tirtha Swami. He was 100% dedicated and sacrificing everything for Prabhupada's movement. I remember that was so impressive to me. And I didn't know him that well back in 1973. It was 74, 73, yeah, 73 and 74. And he had come earlier to the movement. I came in 1972, but I believe he came in 1970 or 69, somewhere around there. But anyway, he was, an older bhakta in a sense, always. But his dedication and his the radiance of his heart was palpable. And this is what I'd like to emphasize here. The radiance of his heart. And let us all take from Bhakti Tirtha Swami today and learn from his example how to be loving toward other devotees. I think if there's one characteristic among many wonderful characteristics where Bhakti Tirtha Swami really stood out to me, in my experience with my other God brothers and God sisters, I have to say he was one of the most loving devotees I'd ever encountered. And honestly, I miss that. I don't find that as a prominent characteristic in so much of the movement because of so much tension. Well, and we can return to this purport here. A mistake. Yes, devotees make mistakes. There is no problem making mistakes. We understand that's part of the 4 defects is to make mistakes. The problem with making mistakes is that if we think a mistake is not a mistake, right? Subject to being we can be illusioned, right? And then, of course, there's the cheating others. The cheating others is even when you know it's a mistake, but to save face, you have to make as if it was not a mistake. That is deception. That is cheating. There's never a reason to not correct a mistake. In fact, no mistake is really a mistake as long as it can be addressed. The only real mistake I would proffer is when a mistake is not recognized or acknowledged as a mistake and one continues on. That's really the only mistake. The only real mistake is a mistake about a mistake. That is that is a serious mistake. All other mistakes can be remedied. A mistake, not knowing that something's a mistake, that may never be remedied and may cause untold damage. We needed souls like Bhakti Tirtha Swami. I miss him, not just personally, but I miss his presence in the movement. About a year ago, Romapad Swami invited me up to Gita Nagari. I hadn't been to Gita Nagari in so many years. But there was the Samadhi for Bhakti Tirtha Swami. And I regret never having gone to Gita Nagari to see him there. He always traveled, and I used to see him when he traveled where I was. But I wish I had gone. And I wish I had said goodbye to him. But in a way, there's no saying goodbye, because he touched my heart, and that no one can take that away from me. And no one can take that away from any of you who has been touched by Bhakti Tirtha Swami. So I'll stop there, Sahadevji, before I get too emotional, but it is a special day, and thanks for tolerating me on such a sacred day as this.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear uncle. Yes.
Oh, someone
Yes.
corrects me in the chat. There are 6 volumes of
Yes,
Spiritual
6
Warrior.
volumes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, 6
Okay.
volumes.
6 volumes. I think I only have 3, so I am deprived. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 volumes of Spiritual Warrior.
Yeah.
Well, today, like you rightly said, is a special day. It's a day of joy and a day of kind of sorrow also, because
Yeah. Yeah.
lots of people like my crazy self forever misses his physical association, because lots of us are unable to tap into the spiritual realm to have an association with him. So we kind of, quote unquote, lost in a way. But we know he is much closer to us than we can ever imagine. And like I said, we did not plan as to who is speaking today, but
I
like
was
I
an
said,
accident. I was an accident. Is that right, Sadeji?
it was a beautiful accident. Yes.
Okay.
And this accident we will wish for all the time. Thank you so
Very
much,
kind.
Babuji. We have 2 hands up. We go to Grace. Mother Gail, please give me a unmute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhus.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Just back to your Gita commentaries. One question I had was this word anugraha, you said to follow and embrace. Is it one who is doing the following? Does it matter?
Right. Yes, I made it ambiguous intentionally. But thank you for that question. Yeah, is that the total question, or did you have more?
No, that's basically the question. Is it like, can it go either way?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it can. It can. And in fact, when you think about how the relationship between the shishya and the guru, it's up to us to embrace guru. Guru is always open. Guru is ready. Guru is available. Guru is receptive. But it is up to us to show Guru that we are ready to embrace Guru. So, but now the word, though, technically, anugraha is usually applied in the situation of the Lord who extends his grace to us. Now, in the Yoga Sutra, it is explained that the meditator is the grihitra, the one who embraces, the embracer, the grahana, the embracing, and the grahya, the one to be embraced. And this is bhakti. See, we are not just sitting in passive meditation, just trying to become tranquil and peaceful and ultimately merge. That's not what we're about. We are grasping, we are embracing, we are moving toward divinity and wanting to embrace divinity. And then anugraha is what follows our embracing, and that refers to Krishna's grace upon us. When we have been moving toward Krishna, Krishna then moves to us. And the word in the Yoga Sutra is anjanata. We have been anointed. We've been anointed by Krishna. That anointing comes in many forms. It comes in the form of the Guru. It comes in the form of hearing Krishna's flute. That may be the original form. His love call, that we may all move toward his heart. He is desiring us. Even though he desires nothing, he desires us. He controls everything except one thing, our hearts. Not even a God can control our hearts. This is the only thing we have to offer. So, anugraha does mean, Ishwara anugraha, Bhagavan anugraha. It is the grace of divinity that we're really talking about here. But there is a mutual embracing going on. We are to embrace Krishna, and then he returns the embrace. The way we return the embrace to Krishna, who's already embracing us on a metaphysical level, he's embracing us all the time. We chant the Mahamantra. That is the way we can return Krishna's loving embrace as bhaktas. So this is a beautiful process, really. It's just a beautiful process. Yoga for us, bhakti, the yoga of bhakti means the union of the embracing Lord who embraces his devotee who is embracing in return. Is a mutual embrace. And that's in the ye yatamam prapadyante tangstataiva bhajamyaham. Beautifully described there in that verse. What do you think? Is that adequate or push me further?
No, it's good. So therefore, a synonym for anugraha would be reciprocation. Huh?
You could, yes. I like that, actually. I like that. Never quite thought of it directly with that word, but you could say that, yes. You could say that. Because the necessary prerequisite for anugraha is an initial embracing. And then the embrace is returned. That's the anu. Graha, right? Anugraha. The anu means the embrace that follows. Anu means follow. The upasarga or prefix of anu means the embrace that follows. It follows what? Follows our embracing of the divine. So this is what's special about bhakti. As we perform devotional service, as we offer our hearts to Krishna through all kinds of seva, through serving the hearts of others, Krishna anoints us with his grace. Reciprocation, that's good, Gail. I like that. Let's go with that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Just one other thing.
Yeah.
Different topic, or maybe the same topic. When you were saying that, was it 934 and expressing his intense love for us? Were those the verses?
Yes, those verses. Of course, there are many verses, but it's 1864 that he says, "Ishtosi me dhritamiti." You are so much loved by me. Now, this is especially emphasized in my presentation of the Bhagavad Gita, but we all know that Prabhupada speaks about these verses 1865 and 1866 as ultimate. And yeah, the 1865, you shall come to me, Krishna says, because you are dearly loved by me. That's right there in 1865. And then 1866, the Charama Shloka, where Krishna says, relinquish all forms of dharma, even though I've just described you all kinds of forms of dharma. He says, here we go. That's right. Here are the verses. That's right. So, of course, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender it to me. The meaning of these words is sarva dharman, all forms of dharma. Relinquish, okay? Tyaja, parityaja. Tyaja means to give up. Parityaja means all around, completely. Pari, as in perimeter, it's a cognate in English. Pari means all around. So completely relinquishing all forms of dharma. Ekam sharanam, the one shelter. Ekam sharanam vraja. Mam ekam. Come to my one shelter, that is me. So
Um,
this is, yeah.
yeah. So when he says give up all forms of dharma, the reason why he's saying that, isn't it because all of these other forms of dharma, aside from bhakti, there is some selfish desire in there, and which therefore compromises love. So is that his point there? That I just want you to have pure love for me without wanting anything in return. Which
Yes,
what
yes.
that's the point, no?
Yeah.
Or
Okay. Yes, you've got it, I think. Basically, the big difference between karma and jnana and Ashtanga yoga, um, uh, or I should say dhyana, maybe. Um, the reason why the Goswamis, for example, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you know, uh, karma is rejected, jnana is rejected, yoga is rejected. Why? Because in each of these processes, they're very self-centric.
yes, yes.
So you're bringing out exactly the right point. This is alter-centric. It is anyakara. So the problem with these other processes is they can too easily be a kind of surrogate ahankara, centered upon me. Aham, I, kara, centered upon the I. In bhakti, this is the process by which we become centered upon the other. A word that I made up in Sanskrit, anyakara, the other, or the paramanyakara, the supreme other. We are
Mhm.
centered upon the other, that is to say, your heart. I worship at the altar of your heart, Gail. I worship at the altar of Sahadevji's heart and all the rest of the devotees here. And I worship at the altar of Krishna's divine heart, his supreme abode. That is his altar.
Okay. So Prabhu, this is, you know, I'm following up, but this is the last thing I'm gonna say
Okay,
because
well, I haven't seen Sahadevji, cut you off
I
yet, so
know.
let's take advantage of this.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
take
that's
advantage.
is him. I'm trying to give some comfort here. This is my bad. That, and this is really what I want to hear about the most, because the this intense love that Krishna has for us. That's
Yes,
that's that's my I don't know, my focus
yes,
for everything.
nice.
And and that's why, because that's the most important thing in the whole of bhakti yoga for me. I
Yes,
really want
beautiful.
I really want you to convince me of your translation of 1864, because Krishna, at least in Srila Prabhupada's translation, he says, "Because you are my very dear friend," right?
Yes.
I am speaking this to you. So two things I need convincing with here. One is that you are my very dear friend can really be translated as I have such intense love for you. That's
Yes.
one. And the
Hmm.
other is, that he is actually, there's so many people who can be reading this Gita as it is.
Yes.
So to understand that he is talking to me personally,
Yes.
so these two things, how to understand that I should
Yes.
take this message to heart,
Yes.
as being personally directed to me. And the other thing is
The
how,
translation. Yeah.
yeah, the translation
Yeah.
that my very dear friend, you are my very dear friend, should be interpreted as he has
Hmm.
such intense love for me.
Yes.
But it seems like a little bit of a leap.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I think you're right. You're very observant. Let's start with your second question first. In the Gita, we have a few personalities engaged here. First, we have the very voice of Dhritarashtra. There is something of Dhritarashtra in all of us. We are like blind kings in false kingdoms. And this is how the Gita begins. It begins with the human condition. What is the human condition? The human condition is very much exemplified by Dhritarashtra himself. He is a blind king, literally, congenitally blind, and he's morally blind. And he thinks he owns the kingdom. He thinks it's all his. But where's Dhritarashtra today? We are blind kings in false kingdoms. So there's something of Dhritarashtra in us. So the Gita speaks to us through the example of Dhritarashtra. Arjuna, then, of course, is the next prominent speaker in the Gita, takes up most of the second half of the first chapter, where he is confronted with an irresolvable ethical dilemma. He is confronted by the mixed world in which we live. People he loves, but then people who are fighting for evil. It doesn't get more mixed than that. And the kind of heartbreak, shattered heart we can so easily have in this world where there is so much beauty, but there's so much suffering. It's a very mixed world. So we are all Arjuna. If we are sensitive enough, as Arjuna was sensitive, we are to be sensitive to our own battlefields. And if we're not isolating ourselves or pretending that we're in la la land, we will understand that there are so many people suffering. We're very fortunate, but so many people are suffering. This is a world of great stress and strain and suffering and conflict and pain. So we need to be sensitive to that. That's Arjuna. And then we need to know how to turn to Krishna after we can recognize the suffering that's in the world. Arjuna barely hears Krishna speak 5 words in the whole first chapter. But in the beginning of the second chapter, especially chapter 2, verse 7, Shishyaste hamshadi mamaham prapanam. I am your student. Please instruct me. I submit myself unto you. So this is Arjuna as a shishya, as a disciple, as a student. He is turning to Krishna. Even though he broke down and was hopeless, Arjuna Vashada Yoga, the yoga of Arjuna's hopelessness and helplessness, he found it somewhere in himself to recognize that Krishna's right here on my chariot. That is our task, Gail. That is our task, to be able to turn to Krishna. And we can do that in so many ways, through the Guru, through other Vaishnavas, Krishna makes it very apparent to us in our lives of Krishna Bhakti, all the different ways and blessings we're given to be able to turn to him. And then we are to learn the teachings.
Personal prayer.
Well, yes, of course. Yeah, indeed. That's what else are we doing with the Maha Mantra? We're calling out to Sri Radha and Sri Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
Well, presumably we're calling out with a message from us. It may be, O Radha, O Krishna, let me contemplate your names and just contemplate the sound of your names and absorb the sacredness of your names. That's fine. But it may be something else. The Maha Mantra is universal, but it's also very particular and personal. We make the Maha Mantra personal. So that's how we do that. That's how we begin our return and praise to Krishna. So then there's the third personality in the Gita, Sanjaya. Sanjaya, who listens to the whole dialogue, narrates the dialogue, concludes that the dialogue is the supreme secret of yoga, which is the greatest secret of all. The supreme, 1875, Guhyam Param Yogam, the supreme secret of yoga. And then Sanjaya goes into ecstasy. He hears this dialogue and he wants to hear it again and again and again. And this is the culmination of our traveling from Dhritarashtra through Arjuna and then finally Sanjaya, who is the perfect listener of the Gita. That's us. Okay, so
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Wait, I didn't hear the translation for his being his having intense love for us. How is that a legitimate translation of you are my very dear friend?
right. Sanskrit is an extremely rich language, and there are many ways to present it depending on the angle from which the commentator comes. But as long as it's grounded in with a bhakti lens, then it's valid. And as long as it's true to the Sanskrit lexicon, then that's true to the lens. Now, so without saying much more than that, my book explains my translation process, actually, over 5 pages. So you can certainly read about it there. The book has been appreciated by many, many devotees. Some devotees have challenged me why I've written such a book. And I've explained to them that I've used Prabhupada's Gita in the classroom for over 35 years. By this point, it's probably 40 years. And I found that Prabhupada's Gita needs a Gita to bridge them over, because Prabhupada's Gita is fast tracking the devotee toward bhakti, whereas my Gita shows that the Gita ends up with bhakti anyway. So I'm proving Prabhupada's presentation to be not only sound, but beautiful. So that was my initial impetus to do a more academically, poetically grounded, and also more literal translation of the verses. There have been devotees who have claimed that they've been able to appreciate Prabhupada's Gita even more having read mine, and vice versa. So it's worked out very well, and over 50,000 have sold.
Including a couple to me.
Oh, there you go. Well, okay. Well, there you go. So so 50,000 and 2.
And 2.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Yeah, look in the back. You'll see an explanation on translation.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your comments and questions.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Brother Gail, as always. Hamsadutta Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I accept my spiritual obeisances.
My pranams.
Spiritual Guru Prabhupada, and all glories to you. Thank you. Thank you so much for the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful class and beautiful words about holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj. Today is Vyasa Puja, and there's one word you said which really enters my heart very deeply. That what is there not to love about him? And it's so powerful to me to hear that. And even his smile. I've never met him in person, but I've seen him in my dream, and the first thing I experienced was his beautiful smile.
Oh yes, he was famous for that.
Yes, and fortunately for me, I have opportunity to meet his disciples, who are my fathers, my teachers, my well-wishers.
Yes, your guides.
And I've heard a lot of things about him. And do you know, when we are talking about Mahabodhi, I was exactly driving straight to where he lived. And Mahabodhi is someone who, if you meet him and he's speaking about His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj, you'll cry. The things that, how he's so special to him, the wonderful things, the sacrifice and everything. And even we who have not met him in person, sometimes we feel this deep, you miss him sometimes. It's It feel like, how can you haven't met someone in person, but you feel like you are missing this person and you wish he's here.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
So my question I want to ask is that, if you love somebody so much and you appreciate him so much, like your grandfather or your grandmother, when he make a lot of sacrifice and he gives something to you like a treasure, even if somebody take that thing away, you fight with everything you have to keep that thing, because it's something which you value it, and you hold that thing like a treasure.
Yes.
So what advice will you give to all of us how to protect his legacy, how to protect what he sacrificed for us? This is this is because for the first time in my life, I pray to him, but today is the day I go to him and I don't know what to say.
Very sweet. Wonderful words. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful, heartfelt words. Very sweet. My only response to you is, in a way, embedded in something of what you've said. The power of loving someone in the bhakti context actually draws their presence to our hearts. There is a dialectical movement between the presence of divinity and the absence of divinity. And same thing with the Vaishnava. To feel the absence of a Vaishnava so intensely is to bring, paradoxically, is to bring that intensity of viraha into a very palpable presence. And we have to remember, Prabhupada spoke about, he said so many times, hundreds of times, you're not this body. And yet it is from these bodies that we were able to connect on a heart level with one another. Relationships are actually based on the energy exchanged and not the physical body that happened to be present. So in contemplating deeply, in a loving way, in a mood of viraha or separation, actually is reviving and energizing the very relationship that you miss. So there is this wonderful, weird tradition based on Vipralamba Seva. Vipralamba Seva. The attainment, Vipralamba means the attainment of distance. Since when is a distance an attainment? When there's distance from a beloved, we take them more into our hearts than if they were present. And so our process is Vipralamba. Mahaprabhu Gauranga came to teach that. He used to suddenly see Radha and Krishna before him down a ways, and he would run toward them and they would disappear, and he would fall on the ground in just an ecstatic mood of separation and longing. So true belonging entails a genuine longing for the one who's beloved. And it's that energy that we will always have, because we are not who we are today without that energy having come into our hearts. The 7th line of Gayatri Mantra, for those who are Brahman initiated, the word Ananga is there. Ananga. That means formless. It means literally without limbs, but it means formless. What is Ananga? It's the energy of the heart. The heart has the power to take us all the way up to the spiritual world and serve Radha and Krishna there, even as we are down here. It is love by which we travel. The physical body is, how crude is the physical body? You have to get a reservation, for a plane, and then you get on the plane, and then your body is carted over through the clouds, through a gas-propelled jet engine. I mean, forget about all that. It's the energy of the heart that is the purest form of travel, and we can submit our love to anyone, anywhere, by sending it through our heart to their hearts. They will receive it. The energy of the heart is absolutely unparalleled. It is stated in the Upanishads that the city of Brahman, Brahmapuri, the city of Brahman, is located within the lotus of the heart. So
thank you.
This is so powerful aspect of our bhakti process. It's rarely talked about. I don't know why. But in fact, right now I'm even seeing hearts come up on the screen here. Look at that. I don't know how that happens, but I think I'm seeing things, but whatever. But the point is, joking aside, the heart, do not underestimate the power of your heart. I heard it when you spoke. Keep delving into that heart. Keep loving Bhakti Tirtha through his beloved disciples and guides and his devotees. And, you will connect with these wonderful devotees and Bhakti Tirtha himself. All of these sage-like Vaishnavas. That is our process. It's a process of the heart. Prabhupada said that. I probably said it here last time, but it's worth saying every time I come here. Prabhupada said Krishna consciousness is not a religion. It is a process for purifying the heart. Why do we purify the heart? Now I'm speaking. What happens when we purify the heart? The heart then becomes unleashed in its full capacity to energize others and to reach anywhere. Easy journey to other planets, Prabhupada said. Do you know what he was talking about? The heart. That's how we purchase a ticket.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much, Prabhu. Thank you. I would have wished to say that I would wish that I'll be born again into this material world and be born into a Brahminical or Vaishnava family that understands Sanskrit. Yeah. And I'll be taught Sanskrit from the very beginning because it seems to me it's a very beautiful, wonderful scientific language. But I believe in the spiritual world, they speak Sanskrit also. So I would like to be born in the spiritual world, appear in the spiritual world, and learn it from
I think you'd be better off there.
Yes.
So I think I'll recommend that, and Bhakti Tirtha Swami can take you around. So it's no problem. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So we go to His Grace Shumavara Acharya Prabhu. Please be on mute.
Jai Hare Krishna. Please accept my obeisances.
My pranams, Jai.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada.
Thank you very much for the Krishna Katha and for the glorification of our Gurudev, Bhakti Tirtha Swami. Thank you. My question, I want to know which is better. It seems like we know it all, because we hear it every day. Krishna says, in fact, what prompted this question is you're saying that the Gita is like a love letter, and that really hit me. And if you send out a love letter and there's no reciprocation, it can be very devastating. So Krishna sent out his love to us, and then of course, yes, there's a proof of that. Many places in the Gita, he said, "Do this for me, do that for me," etc. Now, the Upanishad says that whatever we do, we're actually doing it for ourselves. That is because of the self that a father loves his son or his child. It's because of the self that the wife loves the husband, etc., etc., etc.
Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, I believe.
Yeah. So the self seems to be the center, and of course we can go on and on that. So, but my question is, if we think in that line, whatever we're actually doing, we're doing it for ourselves. Whatever we're doing is for our own benefit. So Krishna has no obligation here. And we do not have to think that Krishna has to really reciprocate, because whatever we're doing in devotion is actually for our own good. Everything, chanting the holy name, doing service, devotional service, it's actually for our own benefit in the real sense. So I want to know which is better. Come up to the point where we think that, well, yeah, I'm doing this for Krishna, and then sometimes we get disappointed. Oh, why did Krishna did not respond in this case? Why did Krishna didn't do this? And then that goes on back and forth. Or we just know that, yeah, but whatever, everything that I'm doing is for myself. So Krishna is actually not in this, in the sense that he owes me nothing, but I owe him everything. So I want to know which one is actually the bhakti, because one tends to be impersonal, but it's actually a mature understanding of selflessness. And the other one, which is like supposed to be unconditional love, then there is query about why is Krishna not reciprocating. At some point, we feel like disappointed. But if you know that it's actually for your own good, why Krishna has something here to do. Anyway, so this is what is going on in my mind. Maybe you can clarify it for us. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, no, nice, really nice. Thank you for your words. Yes, when we talk about doing devotional service for ourselves, yes, but now which self are we talking about? So there are three. So there's the conditioned jiva, the conditioned jiva, the self that is, in bondage to this world. But then there's the pure jiva, the jiva proper, the self proper, and then there's the supreme self. So devotional service does illuminate and purify the self. So there's no question. We use the phrase self-realization to realize ourselves. But why do we do that? It's like a philanthropist. The reason I have millions and millions and millions of dollars is because I enjoy giving away all those millions and millions of dollars. That's a true philanthropist. So similarly, as we become filled up with love for divinity in our hearts, this love brims over into the hearts of others. But we can't give away that which we don't have in the first place. So if I say, look, I'd like to give everyone here in this class $1 million, Sahadevji will come in and kindly sober me up and say, Garuda Prabhu, you're a professor, and chances are you don't have $1 million to just give away to everyone. So, and I would have to acquiesce and say, yes, you can only give away what you have an abundance of. And so first, it is about ourselves. You're right, but it's with the intention of selflessness. I like that you used that word. Savai punksam parodharmo yato bhaktira dhokshajay. Ahitukiya pratyata yayatma suprasidati. The famous Bhagavatam verse 126. Okay, ahaitoki means essentially selflessness. Completely without any motive, without any desire for one's self. Ahaitoki, apratiyata, uninterruptedly. So we fill our hearts up so we can give it away. And in giving it away, guess what happens? The heart becomes even more filled up. That's our process.
Yeah.
Filling up the heart. That's the only reason we're doing this. We're living this life of Krishna Bhakti because it is such a powerful process of the heart for the heart.
Wow.
That's the whole point.
Well, Prabhuji, if I may add or maybe continue with the question so beautifully asked by Shimabara Prabhu and the beautiful answer response. I am trying to look at it in the context of, no, I sometimes watch sports and I sometimes see a boxer who is fighting, and of course he wants to win. When he wins, he is winning for himself. But at the same time, this boxer, as I've seen it sometimes, this boxer has lost his father. And he believes that his father is in heaven watching down over him. And he wants to make his father proud.
Huh.
And so he wants to win this fight. And so in one sense, when he wins, he's winning for himself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when he wins, he is winning
For
to
the Father. Yeah.
honor and glorify the Father.
Yeah. Okay.
So I am also thinking that, yes, when we serve, whatever we do in devotional service, it's for ourselves. But at the same time, our Father wants to see us being successful.
Yeah.
And so if we become successful, we are pleasing our Father. So it is like a two-edged sword. We're pleasing ourselves and at the same time we're pleasing our Father. Because I think if I'm able to become successful in devotional service, it is for my own good, but it is also pleasing Srila Prabhupada. If I become successful, I'll be pleasing Srila Prabhupada. And me trying to please Srila Prabhupada is also, I'll say, an impetus for me to try to become successful in devotional service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I like your words. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Prabhupada.
No, this is good, Sadevji, because yes, we want to on my way to Harvard University to complete my doctorate, Prabhupada sent a message to me through Satsrup. He said, please tell him I am pleased he is preaching on such a high level. Well, that was extremely encouraging and is the blessing by which I've been living all these years ever since. But it's not that I was preaching on such a high level, but I was aiming to preach on such a high level. So there's a level in which we're so satisfied with all the blessings that we have, and we're so appreciative. On the other hand, there is a passion to do more and to do better, to offer more to Krishna and Guru. So there's an interesting paradox. On the one hand, we're very grateful for everything that we've got and have achieved by Krishna's grace. On the other hand, I want to do more. And that's the nature of love. The nature of love is characterized by an embrace, as I've talked about it. When we embrace someone, we are telling them two things. I love you for who you are, the whole package. But then I'm also telling them, but I want to know you more deeply. I want to know more about the mystery of you. That is love. Both things.
Yeah.
If there's just passion to know the person without accepting them, then this is egotistical. If there's just appreciation and passivity, there can be complacency. We need humility and passion, not just humility. I know in the movement, lots of people give classes on humility. It drives me crazy because it's not just humility. Mahaprabhu says, like a blade of grass, right? Yes, grass is very humble. We've all seen the grass, right?
Yes.
It's very low to the ground. It's on the ground. But have you noticed that the blade of grass stands high?
Yes.
It's not flat.
Yeah.
It stands high.
Yeah.
So there's humility, but there's passion.
And it can cut sometimes.
Well, hopefully that, hopefully it provides a soft bed of, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. That would be a piece of straw that was stuck in there that shouldn't be. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah. Wow, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Hamsadita Prabhu, please hold on for a second, because Prabhuji, I have this question I would like to ask before I may not get the opportunity to ask. I believe there is a difference between similar and same.
Yeah.
And English is my second language, but I want you to help me with this. Oftentimes, we hear devotees say that spirit, soul. And I believe there is a difference between spirit and soul.
Yeah.
And so, in the same way, we oftentimes hear a devotee, a Vaishnava devotee. And I strongly believe that there is a difference between a devotee and a Vaishnava. And if that happens to be the case, we in ISKCON are being trained to become Vaishnavas.
Yeah.
A Vaishnava, to my understanding, is a devotee of Lord Vishnu. Just a raw devotee could be a devotee to any other being or any other supernatural force. But specifically, a Vaishnava is a devotee to Lord Vishnu. So these two gatekeepers, Jai Vijay, they are servants of Lord Vishnu, therefore they are Vaishnavas. Now, if my premise is correct, then the question is, how does the Lord allow these four Kumaras to curse his own devotees, whom he has asked Arjuna to announce to everybody that his devotees shall never perish? Of course, I know that they did not perish, but the mere fact that they were affected by the curse of the four Kumaras is a bit bewildering to me, how the Supreme Lord will allow his own devotees to go through these sufferings and at the same time pleading with the Kumaras to tone down the curse when he, the Supreme Lord himself, could avert the curse to whichever way he wants. How does the Supreme Lord play these leelas for the common man like my crazy self to understand and appreciate the Lord? Please, if you may help.
Yeah. Well, it's a very rich question, and I appreciate it. The simple response would be Krishna, may intervene a little bit, like a very kind, compassionate, loving father, a parental figure, you know. But a good parent also knows that the children need to learn how to work out their problems themselves.
Oh, wow, that is answering the question.
Yeah. I mean, now you have to remember, though, in this world, you know, love is not possible unless there is ample room, complete freedom to make choices. Now, we know that when someone is heavily under the influence of the trigunya, the more that they are, the more that they are less able to make decisions that are good and uplifting.
Yeah.
So if I'm drunk on alcohol, how much control do I have in making decisions? Not very much at all. In
Little
fact,
to none.
little to none.
Yeah.
So if we're drunk with darkness, tamasaguna, then if we're so, you know, conditioned, then we will not have much choice. We will simply perpetuate our conditioning in our responses to anything that comes along. But for a devotee, Krishna sends along the challenges that we need to become more freed up. And again, it's about the purification of the heart. And so we have lessons to learn. Every devotee here has been sent all kinds of relationships into their lives to learn about what love is and what love is not. Every single relationship. But it's up to us to appreciate that.
Yeah.
So Krishna has his hand in all of this, but he doesn't manipulate, because to manipulate is to control the hearts of persons, and that is what he will never, ever do, because he cannot.
Okay. Thank you so much.
A lot to think about, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense, and
Yeah.
I'm so happy, grateful, because sometimes you are confronted with some doubts and some ambiguity, and you think there is no answer to it, and then you ask, and what you thought was so cumbersome is it's really very simple.
It's approachable.
You've made it so simple for me to understand. Thank you so much. Govinda Prabhu, do you have something to ask? And then we'll go to Amsaduta Prabhu. Govinda Prabhu, please hear me on mute.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
My hands were not up.
Oh.
But for some reason,
okay, you go ahead.
You've been picked on.
Anyway, wow. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, please accept my respectful obeisances.
My pranams.
All glories to you. Glories to your love and your wonderful presentation of the Bhagavatam this morning. And my obeisances to all devotees. Prabhu, thank you very, very much. Even though I have no question to ask, but my name were called, so that means Krishna wanted me to say something.
Those are beautiful, loving words. So thank you for that.
Prabhu, you are so loving. I'm hearing you, and I've taken so much notice about your welcoming words to whatever word that will come out from a devotee mouth. You accept it as love, and you give that love back to the devotee. That's what I'm exercising from you.
Yes,
it is very, very powerful. And thank you very much, Prabhu. My question would be: we're talking of the love, the extraordinary love that were depicted by our dear most spiritual master, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. And more especially, I mean, the whole world, whoever saw by Tita Maharaj would love to emulate his examples, how to love. I remember he was doing one TV program, and the moderator actually called him the master of love. So how to, when someone's died, the immediate family members and the loved ones immediately become self-realized, I would say. Immediately, the family members and the loved ones realize that, this body is nothing. But as soon as we leave the cemetery, a day or two, then we go back to our normal life. So when we speak about great personalities, a person like Vaidya Maharaj, immediately that sparks our heart and we want to love. But the question is, now that we're talking about him, we wish we could, we could develop such love for each and every living entity. But the love is nowhere, it's not far away from us, because the Lord himself is situated within the heart as a super soul. And now in Gita 12:13, Krishna explains there, Gita 12:13 upwards, I think 7 verses upward, how one can become dear to him. And there are some certain qualities that needed to be developed in order for one to develop such love and become, become that brightened star that Krishna is looking for. Because if you love somebody, what makes that love become so intense is that you look for what the person, your friend, is looking up from you, and you try to come to that standard. So there are certain qualities like envy, like all these 26 qualities of a devotee enumerated by Srila Rupa Goswami. These qualities need to be developed in order for our heart to be nurtured, to be fertile, for the love of God to be planted. Now, my question is, how do we develop this love? Because these tainted qualities has been following us since time immemorial. Quality like envy, like jealousy, like greed, anger. As soon as we are pricked just a little bit, even though we are hearing all these things, then immediately we spark up. The envy will come. Somebody has this, I don't have it, I wish I could. Why him, why not me, and all that. And as soon as I look at your face, Govinda, look at your dirty face, then immediately I get upset. Yeah. So, and Krishna says, unless we wipe off all these things, we cannot come to that standard of love, how he wished us to be. How do we develop these qualities, these divine qualities? How do we develop them?
Beautiful. Wonderful question. Wonderful. Thank you so much for your words. They're very inquiring, philosophical, and reflective words. I appreciate them. We are a process of being drawn to the Supreme Lord in the way that he is supremely beautiful, supremely playful, and supremely joyful. We are being exposed by Prabhupada's grace to the source of love. And when we connect with the source of love, that source will begin to ultimately drown us in a good way, not bad way, drown us in a whole atmosphere, a whole world of loving affection. And you yourself said it earlier. You said it's not just love for one person or another person. It's about love for all beings. I think I heard you say that, and Prabhupada says that. Prabhupada says love is not just about this person and that person and not loving other persons. Love means you have found a way to have affection for all living beings, despite their interactions or lack of interactions or harsh interactions with us. So love is something that is possible with us, despite our conditioning, if we keep focusing on the source of love. That's the key. And Krishna is forever calling us with his flute, the love call of the divine. This is what I've done in this book, this new book that I've produced. I commissioned the painting. You see Krishna?
Yes.
Calling us with the flute?
Yes, I can see.
Look how beautiful he is.
Yes.
He's just calling us. The full moon is behind his head, and he's calling us. This is right from the Bhagavatam and the great acharyas. And of course, Prabhupada's thought is woven all the way throughout. I write in the first paragraph of the acknowledgements, first, I would like to acknowledge A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the inaugural world teacher of Krishna Bhakti, who introduced to the West and then to major cultural centers around the world the tradition from sacred India that most treasures the vision of the Ras Lila. He claimed that, quote, the greatest benediction, unquote, for humans is to be lifted up into Krishna's highest heaven and, quote, dance there with Krishna in the Ras Lila, unquote. Prabhupada said that. We're to learn how to dance with Krishna. For it was the Swami who introduced to the world, starting back in the 1960s, the rich teachings of Vaishnava philosophy and theology, and specifically the philosophical depths of the Chaitanya tradition in which the Ras Lila, as its ultimate vision, is celebrated. So, in short, Prabhupada has said many, many times, we are to go join Krishna in his Leelas and to dance with him. That is where love has swept us up and brought us to this most magnificent realm. Even while we're here in this world, as we focus our devotional activities, as we perform puja, as we perform swadhyaya, deep study of Prabhupada's books, as we interact with one another and that we share, machitta, magata, prana, bodhayanta parasparam, as we enlighten one another. What are we enlightening? Through this katha, katyantascha ma nityam. This katha goes on indefinitely, nityam. Tushyanticha, we are so enriched and satisfied, and ramanticha, we are, just filled with affection for divinity. So it's mainly interacting with the hearts of just the right persons in devotional service. Share these wonderful thoughts and reflections and feelings in devotional service with another Vaishnava who will receive it and be lifted up by your wonderful affections. We're supposed to learn how to worship at the altar of other persons' hearts. This is our bhakti practice. So it is about leaving our own altars, but only to worship at the altar of another person's heart. This is ideal. This is what we're meant to do. Krishna is present in Vaishnavas especially. He's present everywhere, but he's especially present in this loving form in which we can hear his love call. And our process is to respond to that love call with the Mahamantra.
Right. Well, Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We have one hand up, and Prabhuji, I promise to you and to all the devotees, this is going to be the last question for the day.
Okay.
So that Prabhuji may leave for other important things also. So Sadhuta Prabhu, please give me on mute. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Your Grace.
You're very special. You're the first and the last today.
Oh, really? No,
Yeah,
Mother Gail was the first.
Okay. You beat me to it. Yes.
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 I wanted to correct one thing before I ask my question, and I'm very forgive me, because when I was mentioned Mahabodhi, instead of saying His Grace Mahabodhi of Mahabodhi Prabhu, I just said Mahabodhi, and I realized that it's offense. So I want to correct that.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to correct. And secondly, my question, I'm very sorry I did not complete the question completely because I was carried away about the emotions. I'm sorry for that. So what I wanted to ask is that if you love somebody so much and he left something for you, you would do everything to protect it because he sacrificed himself or herself to leave this treasure for you. It happened that most of the times, like a spiritual master or a leader in the family, when he died, the family become divided, and whatever he left us, it become like, instead of becoming a blessing for us, it become like a curse.
Yeah.
But if he is there, everybody was together, and we do whatever he say, and we love him and respect him. And Vaishnavas, when they leave their body, but they are still there. And to His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, what I heard is that he said that even if he's left his body, he'll be more closer to his disciples more than when he's present. So, if something like that happened, is it a test from Krishna, or is it because we are in Kali Yoga, or is it because whatever he is teaching us, we didn't take it serious, and we want to do what we want to do? Because if we really want to protect or follow him, he left instructions, he teaches us, so we will follow what he teaches, which is bring us together. So if you can help me to understand that. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your words. Yes. Again, it's all about the purification of the heart. So it may be that we need to have a relationship with someone where our own impurities need to come to the surface. And then this gives us an opportunity to look at them and to see them. After all, we can't transcend that of which we are unaware. So we have to be aware. If I say to Sahadevji, there is a serpent coming down over your head, then he can avoid the serpent. But if I decide not to tell him about the serpent, then he will be struck by the serpent. Srila Prabhupada has warned us about the serpents of the worldly nature. He has cautioned us over and over and over again about worldly forces. And it's up to us and each other to help one another to, become elevated beyond the forces of worldly nature, but all the same, not to be repressive and pretend that mistakes aren't made. And this goes back to our purport today. Mistakes will be made. That is assured. But we can help each other by pointing out the mistakes. Now, sometimes the internet allows for a lot of cowardly criticisms. Sometimes there will be harsh, very harsh condemnations of a devotee and a devotee's seva. And when approached to engage in dialogue, they will just cower away. They won't do that. They are not open to looking at possibly what they have said might be incorrect. It might be misdirected. The bhakti, the word bhakti comes from the verb root bhaj, which means to share. And that means dialogue. It means shravanam kirtanam. Shravanam kirtanam. Shravanam, reception. Kirtanam, speaking. Shravanam kirtanam. And when that shravanam kirtanam, that bodhayanta parasparam, that mutual enlightenment becomes so exciting and energized, katyantas chamam nityam, excuse me, then we are lifted up into what? Vishnu smaranam. We are lifted up into this beautiful level, this elevated level of meditation upon Krishna's lotus feet. That is our process. We're here to dialogue. We're here to help each other with constructive criticism. That is also good. I happened accidentally on a thread on Facebook where devotees were condemning me for having written and translated a Bhagavad Gita. They felt that I was a guru aparadi. They felt that I had no business writing books about Krishna since they knew I was not a pure devotee. I came on. I couldn't come on the thread because I wasn't friends. That's the way Facebook works. You have to be a friend of the host. Well, I wasn't. So I text messages or an instant message each one of the 5 devotees who are going on and on. I said, I can hear that you are extremely upset with me and you feel that what I've done is offensive and wrong. And if you are correct, then I seek your guidance and constructive criticism, and surely you have the compassionate heart of a loving Vaishnava that will take pity on me. None of them responded. So what do you do? When there's no dialogue, there's no sangha. When there's no sangha, there's no devotional service. So what they were doing together, reinforcing all kinds of criticisms that have no basis because there's no dialogue. Imagine if Arjuna, in the first chapter, never turned to Krishna for dialogue. What if Krishna said, Arjuna, I can help you out here. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Don't talk to me, Krishna. I need to be where I am. I'm criticized. You're telling me to fight? And, Arjuna called Krishna one of his epithets, of which he has numerous epithets. I outlined them in the front of the Gita translation that I offer. One of them is Madhusudana, which is like saying, you're Madhusudana. You kill demons, but you're asking me to do something that you don't even do. You're asking me to kill my family. Even you don't do that. It was a kind of backhanded criticism of Krishna by calling him by a beautiful name, nonetheless, Madhusudana. But because they entered into dialogue, all things possible. All things possible. We are bhaktas. We are interlocutors. We are ones who enter into dialogue and mutual elevation. I even tell this to my disciples. Look, on a formal level, yeah, guru, shishya, yes. But you know what? It comes right down to this. We are partners in appreciating the gifts from Prabhupada, period. We're here to do this together. And anything that you hear that doesn't sound right or is not correct or whatever, I need you to point that out to me. And I will do the same to you. Dialogue, my friend, is the essence.
Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, what you just said is so powerful, it's so emotional. I am a rascal, but I used to be a very super rascal in my teenage years. And I remember there were a couple of times I attended church and I thought that somebody had reported me to the pastor because everything the pastor said concerned me.
You.
Yes. And so I am very, very sorry to say that Prabhuji, you may not, excuse me to say, on my full dandavat, you may not fully understand the impact of your delivery today because what you shared with us clarifies lots of certain challenges that this particular group are faced with. And somehow, Guru and Krishna made you speak the way you spoke. And I am encouraging every devotee to try to go back to YouTube and re-listen to this class. And not just listening, but to hear. And if we hear closely, lots of our misunderstandings will be over from this particular kata. And so, of course, the thanks goes to Krishna, but thank you so much for making yourself the via medium to helping us understand and also knowing the solution to the problems we have. With that, I say thank you so much, Prabhuji. And we hope at least to have your association once in a month to help us stay in line with Srila Prabhupada. With that, I'm not sure, Prabhuji, if you may want to have some sort of a concluding remark, and then we'll bring this to a final closure. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Sahadevji, I don't have much to say except that I'm so appreciative of you and all the devotees here. From where I'm sitting, it seems like a very lively and wonderful group. I so much appreciate all of you, and I appreciate the opportunity you've given me to maybe contribute a little tiny bit to your minds and hearts. This is a great privilege. So I thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all, as we always do, to kindly unmute yourselves. And we all, with one love, one heart, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our deepest appreciation and gratitude to our beloved uncle and great uncle to some of us, His Grace Garuda Prabhu, for sharing his love and wisdom with us all. Please, you may all unmute. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Mancha Kalpa Tarivita,
His Grace Garuda Prabhu ki Jai. His confounder Acharya Zivangesh Prabhupada ki Jai. Vyaspuji ki Jai. All glories to assemble devotees.